All right, guys, I think I'm to the point now. I'm gonna put these posts on. I just wanted to show you real quick. Underneath, when I pulled the templates off, it's got a little divot here, and I'm perfectly okay with that. Some people might, not agree with that, but the reason I do is because remember that little trough I put in there, drain? It's all gonna tie together here in a second. If it's got a little bit of a divot, it pulls moisture away from these guys, okay? There's gonna be moisture in there, but I'm talking like, water, condensation just sitting on those. I'm gonna coat these guys with some paint or some primer, etching primer when I'm before I put everything on. But I just wanted to show you that trough. It's like that under the other side too. So punch the holes just with the torch. They're a little bigger, and that's fine because I can get some side-to-side movement, front to back, just get my posts aligned the way I want them. And then I don't know if you can see because of the sun, but there's that hole I drilled in there. Okay, I got a step bit that I used. It's pretty cool how it does that. Anyways, I just want to show you something real quick, what I was talking about. So since it's welded right there all the way around, when that weld cools, it's going to pull, and it's going to bend this, it's going to distort this base plate. It's going to pull it up, right? Just how it happens. So just want to show you something. I know this level's upside down, but if you see right here, I dropped a piece of 1-inch cold roll on it and I bent it out, so this thing is no longer flat on the bottom. So I used the other side for a straight edge. So if you see, there's that. So we can rock it back and forth. See? It does that because it pulled there. You get a little bit, like I said, a little bit of distortion out like that on the bottom, right? Just because how it pulled there. So that's going to be your low point. So I did that on both of them. Drilled a hole, hopefully to funnel whatever condensation down out through that hole into that trough area and out. So that was my plan. Whether it goes as planned, I do not know if it'll go that way, but let's see if we can. Let's put this guy on. I'm gonna try to set you up, and I just dropped my level, and that's why I can't have anything nice. Let me just see if I can prop you guys up here. Yeah, it is the best it is. So, okay. I was gonna be embarrassed if that didn't go on. Not gonna lie to you guys. I try to show everything, the goods, the bads, the can-do betters, and so on. I'm looking for my crest wrench. There it is, I left it in the truck. So, I'm gonna put our washers on top, right? We're going to tighten everything down, and it's good. Not yet. Not yet. All right. I like putting things on like this just because it's not gonna fall over, but I like to cap these off just because I don't like anything loose just sitting up there like that because it's a hazard. All right, something like that. taste of how disorganized I can be, because I cannot find my torpedo level. And I know I brought it with me. All right, I'm gonna turn the camera off. I'll be back. All right, guys, real quick before I start to level this out. If you're by yourself and you're doing a gate post, it can be little gates at all or posts. It can be a little difficult, because sometimes it just takes a couple sets of hands to help. So if you find yourself alone, like I am here today, you can, if you don't have a magnetic level, torpedo level, or anything that's got some magnetism to it, you can rig something up like that with a couple of straps, get a level on each side of your post. It's going to hold it there. You don't have to put much pressure, and some guys might say don't do this if you like your your levels, but truth be told, it's up against a flat surface. It can twist them if you put too much, like in the case of that cheaper Stanley one, the 4-footer. They're both Stanley, but it just helps out. You don't have to have a second set of hands. You don't have to keep stopping, check the level. So even though I kind of goofed up, this design was not the design, but the location of the anchor bolts was a little bit of goof up on my part. If you guys remember from earlier, I do like this. I have used this orientation for gate posts before. I just didn't know how it would work on this one, it being such a having such leverage on it, because it's 17 foot 1.5 inches long. It's not very heavy, but a lot of leverage. That being said, I have used this before, and it works out great, because when you level a gate post or any type of adjustable post like this with a base, if I did it the other way, I would have several different axes, I guess, I don't know what the proper terminology is. You have several different movement points. Okay, so if I want to get it front to back, I'd have to level off the back too, right? Well, if I want to get it side to side, now I have to use one of the back ones again, and move the back one and keep this one locked in, or the opposite, right? Depending which way you need it moved. And then you kind of have to figure it out, and figure out what your high point is, then pivot off that one, bring the other 3 up, because it's one's going to be your solid point. I'm using that one as a back one just because I'm picturing it having to go this way, which it does have to go that way. Comparison to this type, where you have your 4, okay, you're gonna in this orientation, instead of out here in your corners, right, they're here, 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 and on the back. What that does is it allows you to pivot side to side, or back to front, whatever you want to call it. So we'll pivot front to back off those two right there, off those two. Okay, that's our pivot point. Our adjustment point is these two, because we're going to adjust it front to back, right? But we're going to kind of pivot right here on these guys. Once we get our front to back locked in, we get it where we want it, and we snug them down. Now those become our pivot point. And now we want side to side, we come over here and we adjust on these two. Okay, pivot point now, adjustment point. And then once we get those where we want them, we lock them down. 99% of the time, they're never going to change. but always check level after you do all your adjustments. Tighten your nuts down, the adjustment nut underneath, right? Because remember, there's that nut underneath, if you guys didn't remember that. Okay? So that's why these are important. So once we lock those down, lock the top ones down, get everything locked in, then we come back and check, just to make sure that we didn't pull it out by tightening these down. Because remember, base plates pull up just naturally from welding. Okay, well, that being said, man, if you guys didn't see my thumb, you guys ever smash your thumb and then it gets that, you know, the blood under it? Well, this one was a little bit weird. I didn't smash my thumbnail. I hit the side of my thumb and I felt pressure under there, but I couldn't see the blood, so I couldn't release it to alleviate the pressure or anything. I broke a blood vessel under the side of my thumb and it moved over. And then one of the last videos, actually when we were doing the concrete here, guys, it finally broke free and peeled up. So it's kind of, I'm sorry to gross you out if it grosses you out, but is what it is. But okay, let me get this adjusted and then I'll come back and show you guys how it looks. And then we'll come over here, do this guy, get him adjusted, and with them fully adjusted, then we want to make sure our width in between is still the same. Okay, so we gave ourselves, it should be 17 foot 2.5. Some will give it, you know, and that can fluctuate on this end because that's our hinge side over here, but it should be, I did give myself roughly an inch or so right here. Okay, and that's going to allow it to come over here, touch this. So we'll see how it lines up. Might have to modify something on the gate front, might have to shimmy this guy around, but we'll get line, make sure we're lined up, make sure it looks good, and then we'll get that gate hung. All right, I've only got 90% of my battery left, so I'm going to try to conserve as much as I can. So some of the stuff you don't need me to watch, or you don't need to watch me do, I'm just gonna do it, then pick you guys back up and explain it. So, all right, I'll be back. All right, guys, just want to show you real quick. Okay, there's our level there. Looks pretty good. And let's get you over here in the sunlight. That's a little bit better. Pretty good. Okay, so what I did was I just picked leveling it, you know, side to side this way. Use these as my pivot points, and you can adjust them as you're leveling it. If it's rocking a little bit and you can see that it needs to go one way or another, go ahead and just snug it up, get it to where it looks pretty close. You probably should do that from the beginning, actually, and then just start adjusting from there. If you get it locked in, so it's pretty good. Check underneath, because you don't have to tighten from the top nut right up against the base. You can do both. You can tighten the base nut, the adjustment nut up, and there actually can be both adjustment nuts, but it just depends if you just kind of tighten them up together to make sure it pulls evenly or it gets even on there. Because if you start to tighten this down and it looks like it's pulling it out of level, we'll stop tightening that one. Get underneath, tighten this one up, hopefully bringing it back up and kind of getting it back to where it was. So you might need to get doing both together simultaneously or one after another, right? Just to make sure you keep level. Because as you do tighten the top one or the bottom one, it will change it. So tighten one, then tighten the bottom one, top one, then the bottom one. So that's that. So that works out pretty good. I just wanted to show you real quick. I'm gonna come over here and do this one now. And then once I get ready to hang the gate, show you guys how I do that by myself. I'm gonna do it first to make sure I don't fail on video, and then I'll turn the video on, and then I'll act like I know what I'm doing. Just kidding. I'm gonna do it from the beginning. I just want to get set up. I don't want to waste all my battery on this stuff. But the gate's over there, so I'm gonna have to pick it up, bring it over here, get it set up, and I'll show you guys what I did once I get there. Okay. All right, guys. I carried the gate over from over there. It's not very heavy. It's aluminum. I don't know how much it weighs. Maybe a couple 100 pounds. I don't know. But what I did was I set it in there. You can see it needs to be pulled up there. It's flat there, so it needs to go out that way. And then we come over here to this end, and you can see it needs the same adjustment. So I know the gate posts are square, and that means the gate looks pretty square too. The only thing I don't know about, and it's something I probably should have taken into consideration, is the fence line. Let me get my, I'm looking out there, but I'm talking to you guys on camera. Let me see on the camera. So we got the fence line, right? It's a little low. So, and over there, it's probably gonna match up. I mean, but if I matched it up here, it wouldn't match up there. So we got different elevations, right? Right now I don't know where the gate posts need to be cut. I'm gonna see what the customer wants. But the gate's gonna be up a little higher, and it might have to be also because of the driveway. So the driveway, it's higher there, it's lower here, it's got higher at that end, it looks like, and no doubt it's higher at this end for water, for drainage. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take these steel blocks, right? It's the same type of hinge, but I got the aluminum, steel to aluminum. Now, like I said, the male end on the other ones is a little bit shorter. These ones are longer. I explained that to a customer. He said that's perfectly fine if there's that much gap. So I told him there's gonna be some gap there, but he didn't care. He said, go ahead and use these ones, because I was gonna have to cut those ones off and weld the other ones on, but he said, don't worry about it, just put these guys on. So I can do that. But what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna sit you guys down. I'm going to, that one's actually perfect. There. So what I'll do is I'll use my ratchet straps to, I'm gonna put this guy where I want it. I'm gonna put a ratchet strap around it, hold it to this post. Then I've got that jack, that floor jack there, I can put under that end and get this where it needs to be, right? Now, one thing I did forget to mention to you guys, if you don't already know, is once you hang something on a post, 99.9% of the time, it's gonna pull it out of level. So the gate post, traditionally, I try to go a quarter out, right? So you should try to go a quarter inch this way. So when you hang something on that way, it'll want to pull that way, it'll want to pull it flat. I may not need it because this thing is so light, but sometimes you have to do that. You know, in a quarter inch may be a little much, but you might need to go out a level just a little bit. So let me put you down and we'll see what we can do here. Let me try to get you positioned to where you guys can see everything. I don't know what's going on here. You know, it might be better over here. I don't know. I'm not a cameraman. Something like that. Whatever. Is the gate post right there? Yep. Okay. Okay, let me show you what we did real quick. So here you can see right that gap there. But use a ratchet strap around there, put the block on, and use that ratchet strap, crank that dude down, get everything to pull up against there. You can see the gate tried to open up on me, and it will do that, so you may have to secure that end a little bit, like use another strap over there to do that. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to put that guy back over there and either use that jack or something to get it lifted up so we can put that other block on there. And remember, we got to keep it off there. We'll make sure we're clear of everything else. If you have to, you can go ahead and cut that, you know, those studs off a little bit. It's not going to hurt nothing. All right, but let me put you down. If it falls, you guys are going to see it. That ball out of there. See that ball goes bye-bye? It's not going to work very well. So, in theory, because I've got that pulled up against there, we've got some natural pressure there, but in theory, that post is loaded right now, right? We've got it loaded with that weight because I use that ratchet strap to pull that up there. So that's in theory, and well, a lot of things work in theory, but I do have that in kind of held up, so there is some weight off of it, but just out of curiosity, we'll see. Yeah, no, it's pretty good actually still. So we'll see what happens. So what I'm gonna do, guys, I'm gonna put you down. Now that we know that it goes in there, okay, it goes in there. You know, we've got actually that gap looks pretty perfect. Maybe a 16th difference. Like I said, I don't know, because I've got, as soon as we let that off, it could sag down and be right on. But I need to get that side, that height adjusted to where I want it, and get those blocks all set in there. And once I get all that done, then I'm probably gonna go fire up the welder, and I'll probably do on these, I don't know, I'll probably just do a 60-10, and just make sure I get down in there, hit it deep right in there, that corner, and run that. I'm gonna tack it first, always tack. So what I'll do is I'm gonna do some hard tacks on those, right? I'm gonna move my truck and everything out of the way, and we're gonna swing that gate open, okay? Because if I need to adjust it, it's better to adjust it, cut the tack, than it is to cut a weld out of there. So I'm gonna get it where I want it, hard tack it. We'll swing this thing open, we'll swing it shut, we'll make sure we like it. Then I'll come back with some 60-10. We'll burn these verticals, both sides. We'll make sure we get in there pretty good. This gate's not that heavy, but it's still a hinge, and it's got a lot of leverage on it. And then I'll come back with a 70-18 and go up on that. And then I've got some little material in here, but we're gonna have to make a little latch here, right, for that to go on, you know, to get locked to. So here's another thing. I don't know if the customer's gonna care, but this is gonna have to sit on the outside of that post. See, it's gonna sit flush, whereas that, I have it to the center over there. So, you know, I don't know. If he wants it centered, I'll just come back here with an aluminum block, take this off. I'll put an aluminum block in there, space it out, and just weld it all together. So this thing's allowed to go to the center and still catch here. So that's that. Let me get to this. Let me get everything set up. And once I get it all tacked and everything leveled where I want it, I'll move my truck. We'll swing this dude open, make sure it works, and then finish it out. And I need to get caps. I thought I had them and I didn't, so those are coming in. But then I'll just spray everything, and then we'll grout pack under there. But this battery sucks on this camera. It's my GoPro. All right, guys, here it is. I've just got it tacked together though. It's got 4 tacks, no corners there for each one. I took the ratchet strap off there, and I just took, actually it was loose on this end, which I guess is good. The gate's just about level. It probably could come up a touch here, but we'll adjust that at the very end. So if this thing falls off, we're gonna witness it together, okay? I just want to see how the clearance is out here. And it looks like it's going to be more than perfect. Well, you can't be more than perfect, right? Perfect is just exactly that, perfect. But I know sometimes with openers, automatic openers, there's sometimes a minimum and a maximum clearance for those, but that's a lot of times for contractors to install. So that looks pretty good. Oh my gosh, actually that's pretty dang good. Look at that, guys. Okay, looks pretty decent. See, I think that's plenty under there. Here, I got a tape measure. Okay. Yeah, that's just about 4 inches there. 3 3/8 or so. I don't want to keep swinging this dude open too much. It might encourage it to fall. 4 inch, about 4 1/8 or so. Four and a half. That is pretty good. That's pretty decent. Yeah. Pretty decent. Man, that's gonna be nice, I tell you what. Especially when it's all painted and done and cut and capped and all that. All right, let me finish it up, guys. All right, guys. So far, right now we're done with the gate. It's hung. Well, almost done. Let me take that back. It's hung. I put some grout pack underneath those pads to keep, just to finish it off. Really makes it look better. You don't have to put grout pack under them. You really don't. But I think it looks cleaner. But everybody's different. So he's okay. The customer came out. He's happy with it. He's okay with the height of those posts. Did not need them changed. He was a little concerned with the grout pack under there. Not really concerned, but he just wasn't sure about if the thing would sag over time. As light as this gate is, I don't think it is. But if it does sag, then I'll come back and, it's not going to sag anytime soon, that's for sure. But I'll just come back, chip that front out, and adjust that one bolt and put it back. So, yeah, look at that. Look at that gap. It's actually came out pretty good. Let me get my tape measure. See what. I'm gonna cut and cut. So there's a gnat buzzing in my ear. Half inch. Not bad. So that's where we're at. He's gonna have his fence guy come back, tie the fence in there. And while I was at it, he was okay with the gate meeting up against it like this. It had this latch from whenever he had it. So I went ahead and just always carry scrap steel. Guys always carry some scrap with you. So I just went ahead and cut this little tab, drilled it out, welded it top and bottom. And then I put a big washer in between there, gave it some space just in case this thing does start to sag. It'll take a while before it rubs this, but he can still put a lock through there, and that's all he was concerned about was that. So let me show you something. And I know what you guys are gonna say. Why are you gonna dump water down that post there? But let's just go ahead and look at this. Oh, you hear that? Yeah, wait for it. There we go. Wash all that garbage out of there. There, see how So that's a little excessive on the water, but that's what I was talking about. I just poured a little down there so you guys can see, you know, because if you trap moisture within tubing, you know, when you're welding it, you trap moisture in there, you know, it's got a way to get in, like by those caps that will not, you know, they're not going to be perfectly sealed, but there's a lot of moisture here in Florida. I'm not saying it's going to fill up with water, but you want to allow it to breathe and let it get out of there. So like I said, that's why I put that hole in there, and that weep hole there lets whatever moisture's in there just kind of trickle out as it builds up. It might not ever trickle out, but you might get more spiders inside there than anything. But you know, that's what I went with. These my welds are pretty good. You know, they look pretty good. I need to work on my uphill welding, but I started, like I said, I started off with a 60-10 in there, and then capped it with a 70-18. I probably didn't need to. The downhill 60-10, of course, looked way better, but you know, whatever, it is what it is. They're not terrible. I just need to get a little more practice. But he's okay with this. They're gonna paint this. His guy's gonna paint this. But he has one more task for me if I can do it. Some of these tubing pickets are splitting. He wants me to fix them. So I've got a spool gun. I don't TIG, but I'm gonna try to get him with my spool gun. So if not, then that's that. But I'm gonna try to get these done. I've got the spool gun for that little titanium. I've used it. It works pretty good. So I'm gonna put the phone down. I'm just gonna try it, see what happens, and if it does pretty good, there's one there. There's only a handful of them that are done, that need done. So we're gonna let me just tune that thing in and get it where it needs to be. Let me try it real quick. All right, guys, get back at you. You know what the heck, I thought I'd show you guys how to set this guy up. So I just went ahead and put this on first. You don't need to know how to put a regulator on the tank and then to that guy. That's where I always keep this handy. You don't want to lose that guy. Next, what we're gonna do, so we got to change the gun, the torch setup, right? So we got to change that one and that one. So this guy's got to come out. Since it's got to come out, we've got to cut this wire. I want to put you down real quick while I cut it, because if you cut it, let it go, that thing's gonna bird nest in there, rendering this useless. I mean, you might be able to salvage it, but why do you want to mess with something that's got such a bird's nest? So let me cut that out, poke it through one of these holes right here, get it tied back, and then we'll take everything apart. All right. Oops, bear with me. So, natural reaction, you want to cut right there. Nope, get on this side. Right. So if you've never done this before, I just cut it, right, and then put it up through that hole, loop it through, and leave it like that. It keeps it nice and tight, and that spool won't come out on you, because it's not nice. Okay, then we get to the front here. I already did this, so I kind of got ahead of myself. Always want to change so with the inner shield wire, you've got to have a positive ground, okay? So you got to have your reverse polarity here. So the grounds would be on the positive, and then the torch would be the essentially the ground. It goes backwards. So it's a backward setup. So first things first, hook your ground back to negative and your positive back to the machine. Because I did that once and I was like, man, this thing's a piece of garbage, you can't weld. Well, it can, but it doesn't do very good when it's the wrong polarity. So make sure, just to, you know, you're always going to waste a little bit of wire when you do this, but don't fret. Don't fret. So we're going to put this guy back in. Oh, get it back there, right? Because this is your power. This is your power supply right in there. You've got to get it back in there. Tighten this wing nut. Because forgot to tighten it one time also. I'm going to tell myself. And it didn't weld really well either. I'm going to put this guy, the gas, through there. Because it's loose and this thing came out when I pulled the spool gun. I felt like a dum-dum. So you switch this. This is just a block to block that, keep that all clean, keeps garbage out of there. So put that guy back in there, your supply, right? It's got to be supplied. And then you have you got this guy. Okay, your pins. They go somewhere. It won't. Well, it looks like it's that one. So, let me get this thing dialed in. Let me see if I could even pull this back in. And I know aluminum's got to be clean and all that garbage, but let me see what I can do with this. And if it works, it works. I'll bring you guys back out and set you up and let you watch. But if not, then I'll let you know. All right, guys, see you in a bit. All right, guys, I might get some, no, I'm probably gonna get some backlash for this. So, I got the welder running. This stuff is super thin, and it's actually cracked right there. There's some on this ornamental aluminum. I guess it's, I don't know. It's kind of weird. It's weird shaped. It's bulged out here, right? So it's kind of got this fracture line, like a lot of them are. It's kind of rounded here. It's all bulged, so I don't know how they do that, but that's where it's cracking. So I'm not even cleaning it, guys, which is bad, but because aluminum needs to be clean. But watch, this is what I'm doing. All I'm doing is spot welding it, and you can see right there. And I'm gonna buff it down, and they're gonna paint it with some hard paint. So I'm not even gonna. I'm just kind of spotting it together. So watch. Hold on, let me. There we go. It looks like garbage, but I mean, look what we got to deal with here. So let's get over one more, because what I'm having to do is take my channel locks, push that guy back all the way in there, like that, to where it would be, and then having to take this guy and roll it back down that way. And there's you guys, aluminum. I know there's gonna be some guys on here, oh, I'm not doing it right, and you were correct. I am not doing it right at all. The aluminum has to be clean. It's very particular. You know, you don't even want to get any metal around it, you know, because the impurities, and it starts just, you know, it doesn't weld right. So, but this stuff is, I'm just kind of spotting it together. I'm going to take a sanding disc after I'm done, buff that stuff down, and like I said, the guy's gonna paint it, so not even gonna see it. He just wanted these closed off. So that's that. Let me get back to it, just running out of daylight. All right guys, it's the end of the day and I think we're done. So it said the customer wanted these pickets welded up. I showed you what I was doing, kind of stitching it together. Let's find one here, and then I just kind of closed it up, buffed it down. There was one there, there, all along here really. I mean, there's guys everywhere. Here, and I just stitch it together. It's held. It's just got a, it's weird. I don't know, like this is right here isn't bulged out, but all of these are bulged out. I don't know why. Maybe you guys know why. I don't know. But these are all, they're round right on those. Should be flat like this. No, that one's kind of rounded. I don't know. It's aluminum. I don't like messing with aluminum. But he's gonna have his paint guy come back, and he's happy these are primed. I told him he's gonna come back with the caps when I get them. But his fence guy's gonna finish, and then his paint guy is gonna come in, power wash all this, and then power wash it, and then prime it, and then paint it. You'll never see those spots. So okay guys, well this project's done, and I can't wait to get the next one up for you. There it is. It's beautiful, isn't it? I guess for a reclaimed gate, but man, those posts are beautiful, aren't they? We'll go there. Okay guys, I hope it was informative, hope you enjoyed it, and we'll catch you next time.